I'm going to level with you. I love my bike, but sometimes I wish for a little more. A little more squish, updated geometry, and maybe even a water bottle mount inside the front triangle. This is the new 2019 Yeti SB130. And as the name suggests, there's 130 millimeters of rear travel and 150 millimeters up front. The geometry has been completely updated and follows all the current trends, including a much longer reach, slacker head tube, steeper seat tube angle, and short chainstays. And perhaps the most important thing, there's room for a water bottle inside the front triangle.
Oh yeah. All right. I had to push this bike a little bit more to get a feel for it. And yeah. Wow, this bike rips.
The bike I rode was the Turk X01, which has a Fox Factory 36 fork, DPX rear shock, Fox transfer dropper post, and DT Swiss M1700 wheels, sporting some very familiar Maxxis DHF Aggressor tires. The drivetrain is a combination of X01 and GX level components, and on paper, it seems like the SB130 is the ultimate trail bike I've been waiting for. So how does it stack up? Well, let's find out.
Okay, this is a little bit of a climb here. This will be a good test. So I'm gonna go into a lower gear here, and I'm not gonna scoop my butt up on the seat, and we'll see. Oh yeah, that felt good. Let's go up this steep part here. Oh yeah, so I can definitely feel a difference there. I think subconsciously I scoop my butt forward on those kind of climbs, but purposely I tried not to do that. And it felt really good. All right. I dig it so far.
When it comes to climbing, this bike has that familiar Switch Infinity feel, where it locks you into your sag point, sits up high, even when it gets really steep, but hit a bump and it opens up nicely to maximize traction, but then locks you right back into that sag point. There's such a unique feel to this suspension that you really need to experience it for yourself.
We're gonna go down Cinderella Trail here. Pretty high speed, nothing too gnarly, but you can go pretty fast here. I think the average speed is over 20 miles per hour. First run, we'll see how she feels. Here we go. Oh yeah. Feeling good. Oh! Felt a little squirmy there. Oh yeah. Feels good. Takes a little bit getting used to. Steering just feels pretty different than my bike.
It dawned on me after sitting on this bike for 5 seconds that the SB130 is a completely different category of bike compared to my 4.5, and it's clear this bike hits squarely where the previous generation SB5.5 left off. The more aggressive geometry and the way it delivers its 5 inches of travel with a longer metric shock makes this bike feel calmer, quieter, and plusher when compared to my 4.5.
This bike feels really good. Way more forgiving than my bike, definitely. It doesn't feel like too much for the normal kind of riding that I do. So far, so good. Oh yeah, no problem down here whatsoever.
I never thought my 4.5 was holding me back on the descents, but Strava says I was significantly faster down Chaparral Trail and would have easily set a PR if I hadn't yielded to 2 hikers. And that surprised me considering the less than ideal trail conditions that day. So what didn't I like about the SB130? By far the biggest complaint I had with the spec were those heavy DT Swiss M1700 wheels, which honestly made the bike feel sluggish. This isn't a big deal for shorter or lift-assisted rides, but if you're into all-day epics, I highly suggest investing in a lighter wheel set. I did get a ride in after swapping my own Noble Carbon TR33 wheels with i9 hubs, which dropped over a pound of rotational weight, and I was blown away with how much it woke up this bike on the climbs and descents. So now is kind of the moment of truth. I'm going to put the bike as is with pedals on the scale and figure out how much it weighs. And it is just over 30 pounds. Just finished swapping the front and rear wheel set to my Noble TR33s, which are 27 millimeters wide, with the DHR2 2.4 up front and a Recon 2.4 in the rear, both WT. And as you can see, the weight is down to about 28.7 pounds. So pretty significant difference there. The other thing I noticed is that it takes some effort to get this bike dialed in. As with other Switch Infinity bikes, Yeti tends to run higher anti-squat, which gives it that unique sporty feel. And in my opinion, these bikes feel the best with the suspension fully open with virtually no added compression damping, which only makes the bike feel harsh and chattery. And despite Yeti's claim of adding additional progression to the leverage curve, I was going through the end of the travel pretty quickly, even at my 170-pound weight. After opening the shock, I noticed there was no volume spacers from the factory, so I kept the shock PSI consistent but added a 0.6-inch spacer, which added some pop towards the end of the travel. Couple that with the lighter wheel set, and the bike felt way more playful after these changes.
Yeah, this bike has just woken up with these wheels. Hi, one back. Hard to believe how much of a difference it made.
And finally, the rear tire clearance isn't great for a modern trail bike. The bike comes with a 2.3 rear tire, and I'd imagine a 2.4 could fit, but I'd be hard-pressed to believe a 2.5 wouldn't rub on the drive side chainstay. Also, there's some talk about the rear end being flexy on this bike, and personally, I didn't notice that to be an issue at all. Granted, I'm not the heaviest rider, but I didn't feel anything unusual going on in the back end with either wheel set. Who's this bike for? The SB130 is for somebody who wants a versatile, aggressive trail bike, but still appreciates the art of climbing. This bike is also for somebody who wants a Yeti and that distinct feel and pride of ownership that comes along with it, and is willing to pay the $7,200 price. I had an absolute great time on this bike, and if you're in the area and want to ride this bike, make sure to check out the guys from Rhythm Bikes in Oakland. Hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Man, this bike really comes alive when you push it a little bit harder, as I did down Chaparral. Wow, this bike is super good. Holy crap. And take a drink from my Switch Infinity Yeti. Wow.